following is a presentation of MRE UNO, Division 1.
Welcome to the continued coverage of the 2025 MRE UNO Tournament Division 1 as we are in Jackpot June Tournament number 4. We are now beginning the round of 32, Tilt 32, with an opportunity to make their way into the straight 16. It is the second of our streamed games here today, as earlier on this morning we saw Nam be able to advance against a very game Yepes. They went to a best of 7, and now we enter into the Hearts region for the first of 3 games here today, where we will see a 1 seed take on an 8 seed. All the 1 seeds in their respective regions, they had the bye for the round of 64, and they are now in action. We kick things off here with Nick, the number 1 seed, taking on the rookie 8 seed in background. And for Nick, he was able to put his feet out, be able to see who he was going to go up against here in this round of 32. He's put together a very strong 2025, including a tournament victory back during March Madness. For background, he's looking to try and topple one of the good ones here in 2025 as he continues to build up his rookie resume, one of 3 rookies that has advanced here into this round of 32. You take a look at the tail of the tape, and these two coming into this one 4-2 in his victory against Tago. For background, of course, the bye for the novice coming into this one, the number 1 seed for Nick. Their record in the round of 32 at 0-3 for background. He'll look to combat that as he's been eliminated in the round of 32 already here 3 times in 2025, and for Nick, he's been able to go 2-3. Of course, you see the trophy he's got there from March Madness. The CPU predicts a 4-2 victory. I don't know. Based on what we saw earlier on today, I fully expect to see this go into a best of 7 as well. We didn't get to really see any recap for Nick back during the round of 64 because he was on a bye. So let's take a look at what he's been able to do here in 2025. Of course, picking up that tournament victory back in March Madness. Eliminated in the round of 32 by Peter Onjak in Automotive April. And then advancing to the round of 16 back in Movie May before getting eliminated in a best of 9. A crucial Game 9 against Monkey. Looking for a little revenge coming into this Jackpot June is Nick. Winner of this matchup, they're going to go on and face the winner of the matchup taking place later tonight. It will be non-stream, but Tapir taking on DJ Curtis. They will then move on to face off in the straight 16. And as mentioned, this is the second of 3 streamed games here today. Earlier on, we had Diego Yepes toppled by Nam. We've got Nick taking on background here. And then immediately following this one at 3 o'clock will be our 3rd and final streamed game in the clubs region as number 1 seed Myth will take on number 8 seed Yoshi. three number 1 versus number 8 seeds here today, as later on at 7:30 in the Spades region, you got Mac Johnson versus Hockey. Before that at 7, 3 seed Albion and 11 seed Arya in the clubs region. And then we cap off the night, as mentioned, in the Hearts region with Tapir taking on DJ Curtis at 9, but those 3 games will not be streamed. This one is, though, as we'll head down to the table. We got Cody Smart reffing. Jesse Turner joins me on commentary here for this one. And Jesse, it kind of comes down to really the mindset of the novice versus the rookie, because Nick's been there. He's been to the top of the mountain. He took the whole thing back in March, but he's now had a little bit of time to process, see who he's going up against, formulate a game plan. On the other side, while it was a great victory over Togo for background, there were a couple of rookie mistakes that he was able to overcome. Going up against a 1 seed has to eliminate those mistakes here today.
Absolutely, Seth. Again, it's my pleasure to join you up here in the commentary booth for the first time ever. I'm sure this will go pretty smoothly here. You know, I'm sure there'll be a lot of entertainment with what we're about to see. But anyway, yeah, it's hard to not really not count Nick as the favorite here, because I mean, just with his record so far this season, I mean he's done unbelievably good for his career being relatively young as it is. But no, that March Madness win by Nick, I mean that's obviously the best start to a season you could ever have. So Nick, he's got some fire on here, but background, I mean obviously he's done a good amount of work in the short time that he has been here in Uno. With him being just a rookie in D1. This is the first time I've ever seen him play here in action in Uno. So it's a bit hard for me to tell right now just what he's capable of, where he's strong at, where he's weak at. Although, I mean, I'm sure he'll look to put up the best fight that he can against the number 1 seed, Nick. I mean, anytime you face a number 1 seed, it's not going to be easy, but definitely not impossible. So maybe background, he might put a good fight up to him. We'll have to watch later on.
Yeah, I can't remember the number of times KT and I have talked about how the seeding is just a number. The experience on all fronts, no matter if you're a number 1 seed or if you're a number 16 seed when the tournament begins, the experience gap, it is really narrowed, and we've had some really competitive games, and we've had some, as far as the numbers are concerned, upsets, but in terms of the experience, they're really not upsets because it's such a level playing field. And in the case of Nick, you look at some of the people he's been able to defeat here during the course of this season as well. Ashley, Toasty, he's been able to defeat Yepes, who was eliminated earlier on here this morning as well. So some big names that he's been able to put in the rearview mirror here in 2025. And something that we'll also be interested to keep an eye on here, if you kind of look back to that earlier matchup against Nam and Yepes, individuals that love the upper tier, very similar in their play style, love the light switching. It'll be interesting to see what similarities or clashes we're going to see here in Nick versus background. Will we see them kind of play against a clone of themselves, or will it be completely two opposite styles of play? So now let's ask some questions of our competitors here in this one. Nick, obviously, as mentioned, you started off 2025 with a bang. You took the whole thing in March Madness, but a somewhat early exit back during Automotive April. You made it up into the round of 16 this past movie May. So some momentum kind of gained back there. Now you've had this bye, you've had the opportunity to kind of take a look, see what background brings to the table, putting together a great rookie resume. What's the mindset coming into this one as the number 1 seed? Do you feel that there's any type of pressure coming into this one, having not played back in the round of 64, maybe a little ring rust there? Or do you feel that being this number 1 seed and being able to advance pretty high up there in last month's tournament, that you're coming in with a lot of momentum?
Yeah. Last tournament was a pretty good tournament, even though I only made it to the round of 16, and it was just good to get the momentum back after what was a pretty disappointing Automotive April. There's going to be, of course, there's always pressure, especially when you're the number 1 seed, because you have all those expectations that come with it. I'm just going to have to learn to deal with those expectations, because I mean, expectations are a privilege. I mean, it's better to be expected to do great things than not be expected to do anything at all. For background, I feel like I give him a lot of respect, a lot more than some of the other people in this league that don't know his history in other leagues. He's won multiple MVPs in UUL, so I know exactly what he's capable of. I even said that back in March that he'd be one to watch out for to make Super League. So I can't take it. I can't take anything he does lightly. Gonna have to just stick to what's gotten me to this point in the season and go from there.
Well, background, I've had the opportunity here during the course of 2025 to observe a number of your matchups, and obviously coming in the rookie class, you seem to play like nothing but, and as Nick said, not taking you lightly at all, which is I think a testament in the level of respect he's got for what you bring to the table here. One of 3 rookies, along with Hockey and Goldie, that advanced here into this round of 32. Do you feel like here in Jackpot June, you're kind of playing with house money? You've put together an impressive rookie resume so far, and now going up against the #1 seed. What kind of a notch in your belt would it be if you're able to now take a #1 seed down, advance into the round of 16? As background enters in his answer here for this one, it'll also be interesting to see here, Jesse, like, what do we see out of the gate? Obviously, being the #1 seed, Nick's going to have the first 2 homestands. Do we end up seeing him go into upper tier, mid tier, lower tier, wherever his comfort level is? Does he stay there, or do we see him change it up? And then based off of whether we end up going into the first homestand for background, whether it be tied 1-1 or it be 2-0 for one side or the other, do we end up seeing maybe the comfort level stretched out a little bit? Do we maybe go a little bit outside of the comfort zone, mix it up, and try something different?
Yes, with Nick, I mean, he's got the first 2 homestand calls. Like, I mean, these first 2 games, obviously, like, it should paint a good enough picture for how each player is going to handle this. Nick, of course, I mean, these first 2 games, he'll have control right from the get-go on, he can take the game in whatever direction he wants to take in, unless background's got a crazy enough hand to really throw him off his original game plan. But no, like it's good to have, once you do have your homestand, I mean, you get to control the pace, you control the direction of the game. But obviously it's not a good guarantee that it's going to go your way. I mean, you could lose on the road or you can win at home. I mean, it can go whatever way we can. But I'm just excited to get to it and see these young players duke it out.
Absolutely. And background says, honestly, getting over my hyper specialization for round of 64 would be the real challenge. Kind of playing with house money of my own. Happy for my season so far. Prefer it when I'm more of a background character in a matchup, but willing to at least make Nick earn a win from me. I like that, playing into his name there, be a background character. But he's been anything but. We've seen him do really well against a lot of high-seeded players. We'll see what he's able to do here against the #1 seed in Nick, who's got the call. So I'll turn it over here to Cody Smart and find out exactly what we're going to kick off this potential best of 7 with here. Nick's got the call on the first hand.
We'll do 14 cards, please.
All right. Very similar to what we did in the earlier series of Nam versus Yepes. We started out with 14, and oh my gosh. Okay, we're having a little deja vu.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting one there.
Well, here's the thing. Game 1, last series, we started with 14 cards. Guess what the first card was? It was a yellow +2. I think I've just hit replay. I've gone back in time. Now,
I want to say that's G-Man's card, if I'm not mistaken.
You're correct. I'm not going to say what the card was that was played afterwards, but if I end up seeing the same card played that was played at the beginning of Game 1 in the first series earlier on this morning, I'm going to be very, very scared.
We'll see what Nick has to do here. It's a bow tie, too.
We're good. It was a yellow 4 the last time, so we go half down of what game 1 was. As looks like we're going to run in yellow here, capping off that +2, and we really didn't see, we normally don't see, especially when we're on a 14-card start here, we don't see anyone play off of a +2, because if you have a +2 in your hand, you're usually wanting to hang on to that one mid-game, especially end of the game, if you can save it that long.
Absolutely, yeah. It's key to control, good ammo cards like that. That way you can set your opponent back at the right time, as we see Nick switching to green with an Aria card.
We'll see Arya will be in action later on tonight at 7 against Abion, non-stream game. Little ditto play there from background. We had light switches galore in the earlier game. We'll have to see how much Nick and background call upon the light switching here in this series. As down to the bottom floor for Nick, and then to the top floor for background with the 9.
Yep, from the basement up to the ceiling. As Nick is going to resume control right here, down to a 2. Just keeping it chill, keeping it cool. Another switch over to yellow from background.
So bringing it back to where we started. Yet to run in the blue or the red, so not sure exactly which color would necessarily be the proverbial Pandora's box. And oh, look at
Back
this
to green.
ISO play from Nick. Bringing it back into the green. Did background have anything in reserve? Does he have a wild of his own to maybe bring it to a color of his choice? Let's see.
It's evident that Nick likes that color. He must have a play right there. Oh, how about this?
There you go. Says we're bringing it back to yellow, and I'll hit you with a +4 for good measure. Now on the road, background going to take a 7-11 card advantage.
Oh, blue, though.
So we open up a third color, and we'll open up the fourth color now. Into blue and to red. Small spell in blue.
Yeah, that's painful for a Nick to lose a good wild like that. But you just hindsight's 2020. You wouldn't expect background to whip out a +4 and change the color on him like that. So it sucks for him to lose a wild. But he's with his experience, he may get him back right here, and there's a double.
There it is. There's the double with the +2. And to your point, though, you kind of sometimes you're willing to run that risk because you're trying to draw out that +4, draw out that special card. When we saw him go with the ISO play, it's twofold. You could either end up having them iced out, have them draw back, or you can potentially get that ammo card out of the way. So now knowing that the +4 is not there for background to call back on, Nick feels comfortable in running in red, and who knows, he may even plan on trying to potentially get back to that ISO color once again at some point.
We'll see if he'll be able to do that. We go from Sanford over to DJ. As Nick gets to see if he can lay down here to respond to that DJ 5. There's the LaPlante 5.
There it is, into the LaPlante 5. Mentioned it in the earlier stream, but happy 29th birthday to Austin LaPlante here today. And background will bring it back to red. Is this an ISO play from background, or is he trying to get it back to the color he wanted to establish? Let's see what the answer is going to be here from Nick. Is this maybe a flush play, a counter flush play by background?
Yep, still tight. 6-5 that background has, but I'm sure Nick has a few reds available to play. He was able to run with them earlier.
And there it is. There's a +4.
Whoa, check that out.
From background, Nick will bring it back to green. 4 freshies for background, who will just run in green.
Yeah, Nick's really liked that green color a lot this game. I mean, he switched to it twice now, and now he gets to execute his own +4 against background, just like vice versa.
Nick with the color swap into the blue, down to 3 cards with the blue 3. Let's see if this gives anything for background to do something. Nope, no ammo to use. He'll just run in blue. We might be down to numbers here. Oh, the swap over to red from background. Does that ice out Nick, or does he have a contingency plan?
Yes, it
does.
does
Not. Look at that.
Wow, check that out from background. Using that icing switch right there.
Nice play with the 0. Tough to switch off of that. Now it comes down to the number efficiency here for your background. You do not want to leave the door open for a color swap as he draws it even. Nick gets a top deck. And now background's iced out. We might be in a draw city here, as we're stuck on the red 2.
Yeah, they've both run dry on reds. Got to draw it back some and maybe get a top deck just like Nick did right there. If background has any numbers, which he doesn't right there, I mean, he could switch off to a different color with the number 3.
There you go. Population in Draw City, at least 2 right now.
There's the switch.
There you go. Top deck Into the, oh, look at this. And then light switch into green. Nick's got 3 cards to background 7. Nick can't play in green.
Oh, how interesting. Like he's liked the green a lot, but now he's got nothing.
Background trying to even it up. If he can play a card and Nick draws back, we'd be knotted at 5. Nick's got something, though. What did he top deck? Nothing. Ooh, into yellow. Interesting. Knotted at 5. Double play into a draw for Nick. Oh, wait, hold on.
Oh,
Finish?
wow. Look at this run by
Finish?
background.
Down to 2 to check.
He's
That's
got it
it
now.
He got the +4 he needed. Chains a trips reverse into the +4. Closes it out with the blue 1. Background on the road takes the first game.
Yeah, that game sure delivered a lot of heat right there. But excellent job to background keeping himself composed. I mean, Nick was close for a minute right there. He had the pace on the ISOs and the switches, but no, like a background hung in there. It's and he takes the lead. That's very good.
Talked about the possible similarities and contrasts between the two, and both of them utilizing the wilds to flush out respective +4s we saw there in the middle portion. But it looked like the ammo on the drawbacks may have gone in the favor of background. Background, I'll start with you since you're typing out your answers here. That trips reverse into the +4, how much of that was on the draw city? How much were you having to hang on to, just hoping that you'd be able to get the cards necessary to chain something together? And then for Nick, it looked like maybe you were just stuck with, was it a 2-color hand, or was it even just a 1-color hand? Because we saw you were iced out eventually in the greens, which, you know, to JT's point, I was with him thinking that might be the color you were looking out to close out with. Was it just a lack of ammo cards there? You were trying to kind of maybe rely on number efficiency there at the end?
Yeah, at that point I was more just relying on number efficiency, hoping background didn't have the numbers on his end to switch into the proper setup to run his chain to the end there. Just gonna have to shrug that one off and go next.
And background says a lot of it was before the draw city started. Had a 3-turn win. Didn't want to burn the +4 that early. Wow. So we could have been, we ran a little over 7 minutes in this game. We could have been less than half of that depending on other circumstances. But that kind of goes back to, you know, kind of what Nick did, which was smart. Played that wild to ice out and forced the +4 to be played right then and there. Drew the game out a little bit longer. Ultimately on the losing end, but it could have been a lot quicker of a loss than it eventually was. And, you know, as Nick said, just got to shake that one off. He's got another homestand. He's got another call on cards. So draw this series even 1-1 on his final homestand here of these first 2 games. Let's now head back down. As Cody Smart will find out what we're going to have here for game number 2. Nick's got the call here on his second straight homestand. Looking to draw this series back even 1-1.
14 cards again, please.
Going right back to the well there with the 14 cards. And we'll see if Nick can now draw the series even 1-1, or if background can maybe take a 2-0 advantage into his 2 upcoming homestands. As we'll kick things off with DJ.
Yeah, brother. I mean, Nick's got a lot of faith in this high tier starting. I mean, of course, he's won plenty of games this way before. I mean, it's rare to see him lose, you know, a game like that when it's his call in the homestand. But I mean, it happens though. He'll get back up on his feet and he'll hope to tie it by the end of this.
He'll initiate the first light switch here of game 2 into the yellow. A lot of players really comfortable up there in that higher tier. We ended up seeing earlier on today in all 7 games of Nam versus Yepes, we didn't have a single game that didn't start in double digits. We were in the 10 to 15 range the entire series. Looks like we're going to...
Yep, over into green from yellow.
Yep. Thought we were going to stay in yellow for a little bit longer, but nope, there is the light switch into green from background, so both have initiated a color swap here. And
We've only we've only stuck with the colors on the stoplight. Still have yet to touch blue this game.
I always keep an eye when we end up doing this number efficiency, these light switches, when we start getting down to around that 6 to 8 card range, because I've seen so many times where you've got the right ammo on the initial start with a 13, 14, 15 card start. You could chain them together. I've seen 6, 7. We had an 8 bagger earlier on today. You cannot leave that realm of possibility outside of a potential game-winning scenario. Is now we're going to be down at 7 cards each. Nick iced out on the green here. Let's see if background can close up a gap. He's going to have to cop out with a
And there's
wild.
the first blue card.
Yeah. So both were iced out on green, and background will make the swap over with the wild into blue. Now let's see what Nick's able to do with the door open.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with the high tier card start, I mean, I'm sure they probably had a few blues laying around in their hand, but now that that blue wild was summoned by background, it's now opened up a whole new box of options for both these players to use.
And we are down to 4 and 6 cards each. No ammo cards have been played. There's no way we had just numbers on both sides here for a 14 card start. We're back where we started with the DJ Red 5.
Yeah, how interesting. I mean, yeah, only that blue KT Wild is the only ammo card to play. But there's a background with a couple of them.
Down to 4. This could be a finish. It's a finish. It's a finish.
It's got to be it.
I was going to say, there's no way there was not going to be ammunition to be utilized.
There you go.
Ends it out with the +4 and a 2-0 advantage now for background. Both wins on the road. You just kind of got the sense that they were both maybe holding that ammunition for the very end. Background, another victory for you here. 2 wins on the road and 2 homestands upcoming. I don't believe, I'd have to double check here, but I don't believe that there was a single drawback for you this game either. So just straight up plan A and hold on to those major heavy hitters at the end of this one. A monster hand here for you to be able to take this 2-0 advantage going into game 3, but as I said, you were able to use the light switching, the number efficiency and everything there. It just kind of seemed like the plan was hold on to those ammo cards till the very end. And then for Nick, I mean, we talk about timing. Was it a timing thing there? Were you also holding on to a bunch of ammunition to have a kill shot at the end and just got preempted a turn earlier or something like that?
I had a little bit of ammo on my end, but not nearly as much as background did. I would have been able to make the run in like 2 turns, but that didn't really get a chance to materialize. I wasn't quick enough. So it is what it is.
So 2 14 card starts and plan A completely here in game 2. From background, guessing Nick had nothing to stop him with, as we just established there. Expecting Nick to stop me on that wild play if he could. Yeah, I mean, that was also something I was a little bit surprised about there. And maybe, in hindsight now, Jesse, the fact that when background made the initial swap over to blue, we hadn't been in there. Both of them were iced out on green. More than likely at that point in time, if Nick had some type of ammunition, specifically a +2 or something, probably would have used it at that point to be able to establish possession.
Oh, of course, yeah. It was interesting getting to see them, use just numbers for the majority of that game up until that blue wild that we saw, and then, I mean, excellent job by background, saving all them key ammo cards. And using it at the right time, timing it just right, and bam, he's got a 2-row lead, and all the momentum has gone his way.
Yeah, you look at the statistics so far, and we've had 2 14 card starts. The ammo has definitely been a bit lopsided here to begin. 2-1 in +2s for background, 3-0 in reverses, 3-1 in wild +4s. Those have really been a huge part of the difference makers. So we'll see now if the ammo puts itself into the advantage of Nick, as he'll try and draw the series up 2-2, but he's going to have to survive 2 homestands here for background, as we'll let Cody ask background on his first homestand what we're going to be starting off with here. Yeah, no 14. That's the only thing we've run so far. Oh, we're going half off. We're going Classic 7. So we're going mid-tier here with background's first call. And how about that? We start with 7, and we'll start with a green 7.
Yep, that's a card that Nick liked a bit earlier, but no, so background with the immediate switch. So we'll get to a dab into blues for a little bit now. Nick flexes his own card, as you see.
And then into your card there with the blue 5. Nick iced out, though, in blue. Early going here. Oh, we're both iced out.
Oh, wow, they both do. Interesting.
So, yeah, when you start with 7, it can be really interesting. A lot of times it can come down to number efficiency with little to no ammo. Sometimes you can get lucky, get maybe those 1 or 2 ammo cards that you need. Little top deck there from background. Is that 2 going to be enough to swap off? Yes, it is. We're now into the red.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, see, like that's why, like me personally, I'm not as comfortable with starting on the low tier for that very reason. Like you can just, get a whole scattered hand and you can't do much with it, as a Nick goes double right there. But yeah, I mean, if you are able to be fortunate to get some key ammo cards in there, I mean, why not use them? So we see Nick do it right there with his double.
And now a light switch off the 7 into yellow. Got to keep an eye. We had a little bit of a drawback there, but we're starting to whittle cards down. We're down to, well, a little double play there. We were going to be down to 4 each, but now 3 cards for Nick, 4 for background, and he'll draw it even 3-3.
And that's Nick's second double play.
Is there that 1 ammo card, or are we just going numbers at this point in time is the question. Down to 2 for Nick. Draws even with the yellow 0 for background. We're down to 2 each.
It's getting real tight. Does Nick have anything?
There it is. He got the card.
Wow.
He had the finisher. He had the +4 he needed to finish it out. Just holding those ammo cards to the very end. That seems to kind of be the tail of the tape here so far in this series. And background had his own +4 to finish. How come that doesn't surprise me? The way that they were whittling those numbers down.
Yeah, that's just something right there. Like very rare. It turns out that they each had their own finishing move, had the opportunity, but it was given to Nick when he needed it.
So I'm gonna ask both individuals the exact same question. Background can type his answer. Nick can verbally answer it here. Those +4s. Each of you had one to close it out. Were the +4s on the initial draw and you were hanging on to them, or were they on the drawbacks there?
My +4 came on the very first draw of that draw city.
Whoa.
So I didn't have anything to start off except for the skip. And then my first draw from the draw city was that wild +4. So it was just a matter of waiting until I had an opportunity to use it.
So while we're waiting for background to answer the question here, Nick, I'm just going to give you a follow-up question here. Obviously, as we saw here in the early going with your homestands, very comfortable in the higher tier, but you win here in a mid-tier call by background. When we eventually end up getting to your next homestand in Game 5, does this change up your strategy at all? Do you still feel comfortable in that high tier, or does this now kind of sway you in thinking, maybe I'll try my luck down in the mid-tier now?
I wish I had a good answer for that right now, Seth. I really do, because I know he's not in this league anymore, but back when he was in UUL, they just run 7-card OG all the time. So I know he has like wealths of experience, specifically in the 7-card, 8-card, 6-card range. So going in, I was a little bit like, I gotta take him away from that as much as possible, but I don't know. I mean, hopefully I'll have a better answer for you by the time Game 5 comes around.
Okay, sounds good. Background says he drew his on the second draw. So Nick got his on the first draw. Background gets his on the second draw. Was considering pulling it, but felt like he'd gamble it. And yeah, we talk a lot of times, JT, about timing. Sometimes you've got a plan, but the person on the other side also has a plan, and if they execute it just one turn before you do, then you're kind of stuck and you're not able to be able to do what you were originally planning. You find yourself still with those cards, still with that plan, and it ends up being a completely moot point. And in the case of what we see here, I mean, it's interesting because both have kind of gone in on each other's turf in their comfort zone and been able to take the other one down. We'll have to see now. I asked Nick about future plans for Game 5. we'll see here in just a minute for background. Does he stay down there around that 7 card again? We saw Nick actually call back on the 14 when he lost on the 14. Do we see Nick call back on the 7 card? As Nick alluded to, he's very comfortable with the 7 card starts in that other league. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. It seems like it's all about comfort and the other side saying, hey, I'm coming onto your turf and I'm going to take you down on your turf rather than on my homestand.
Yeah, that might just continue. I mean, Nick, he could take advantage of a background at his home, and we have 4 straight road wins. I mean, obviously, unless background, he can call something different to totally change the complexion of it all and throw Nick off again. But I mean, he's got the 2-1 series lead. I'm sure he doesn't want it tied up. He wants to win 2 more games and get this over with. But obviously, Nick, he'll have his own plan, and we'll see what they each come up with in Game 4.
Let's not waste any time. Let's turn it over to Cody here. Background's going to have the call for Game 4, his second homestand, trying to open up a gap here of 3-1. Ooh, interesting. We're going to go up to 13. I almost wondered if maybe we were going to run it back in back-to-back homestands here with a 7, but no. Instead, 13 for background. And Nick says, I see you, background character, so maybe showing something a little bit differently here. Let's see how this one plays out as Nick looks to draw this series back 2-2. So far, we've yet to have a home stand victory in this series.
Yep, switching off the 2s right away, down into the green 0. Just keeping it simple right now, up to 7, just staying within the numbers, which we've seen these guys do for the majority of these 3 games, and then the ammo cards come in at the end, so watch out for that.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting, too, to see as we progress further into this series, to see if we stay with that status quo of saving the ammo for the end, or do we change it up a little bit here now, depending on the situation. Do we start to see maybe more towards the middle of game the ammunition come out, if indeed one has it, as we're just going to continue to run in green here for a little bit. At least draining out that color. Could be a callback color if you're looking to ice somebody out, which already Nick is out of said color. And background will bail him out.
Yep, still maintaining those switches up. Over from captain into Tapir. Nick's got his turn again.
Trips
how about that triple by Nick?
Into the blue. It's interesting, too, because I feel like, as I mentioned, a lot of the similarities of these two that we've seen so far in these first 3 games is, look at this. Gonna try and ice out again. What? Whoa, hold on.
Oh, he does have an answer for that one.
Wait, was that off of the... That must have been off the draw. Yeah, that had to have been. That was off the draw when he was iced out in green. And then the initial swap over.
How about
Whoa,
that?
hold on. Hold on.
That's a 6-pack right there.
Hold on.
Going into a quad.
With the +4 starter. Has to be a finisher. Oh my gosh.
Nick can still
+2
power play though.
Reverse.
Oh, now he can't.
Quad reverse. Ditto blue, ditto yellow, ends
what
in the
a
yellow
killer
and.
hand by background.
Well, now I kind of see why he had the confidence of swapping over with the wild. Expected to get stopped there, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it, Jesse, about the potential defensive power play. Background surprised that wasn't there as well. Nick's gonna keep.
Yeah, if he would have had enough time to use it, that certainly could have frozen background on the run that he was having, and Nick could have still had some hope, but fortunately, it wasn't meant to be.
Background up 3-1. Another monster hand for you here. We kind of got the indicator when we end up seeing that +4 start that you probably had a run to the finish. Had a +4. Was like just be burning it. Okay, so that kind of answers a question I was going to ask Nick there in just a moment. But background able to pick up the first home stand victory here of this series, and just kind of going back to looking at what you had here. I think again, this was another plan A. Another plan A with 13 cards. Nick, obviously, as you said, you had a +4 there, but you'd just be burning it. Was that the case of holding on to the power play? If you'd had maybe a finish to the end yourself, maybe then the power play would have been utilized. But since you seemed like you just didn't have anything there, it would have been a waste. You want to hang on to it here in a crucial upcoming Game 5?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you're going to use the defensive power play, I mean, in my opinion, you got to have at least some ammo on the back end to back it up so that you're not just. Because otherwise, you're running the risk of being down 3-1 without the power play. Because you try to be cute and use it as a defensive power play to steal this game, but it didn't really work out. At the very most, I'd be getting. Best case scenario, I would have just neutralized that game and it would have become another 50-50. So, I mean, I don't think that necessarily makes using the power play worth it in that scenario. That's just my opinion, though.
It's a good one too. I agree with you on that. Normally if you end up having a hand that you can end up stopping somebody and then winning yourself, then I can see the power play coming into fruition. But kind of a waste of a power play if you used it in that type of a scenario. So I completely agree with you on that. This has been a crazy series so far. 2 hands so far, 14 card start, 13 card start, where it's been plan A here, Jesse. And now for Nicholas, an opportunity. Still got the power play available here in Game 5. The only problem is Background's got the power play as well. They're still knotted with 1 power play apiece, and depending on the utilization of the power play and what he gets here, Background could close this series out 4-1.
Yeah, and what an upset that would be for the rookie at Background to defeat the 1 seed. I mean, with the rate that he's currently going on, that would certainly be something for Nick to be knocked out of this so soon. I mean, I can definitely tell you how it feels in 2025. It's no fun. Nick wants to avoid that happening. I mean, of course, Nick, he has to win these next 3 games out, or his Jackpot June. He's gonna be he won't have a chance at the jackpot anymore. So it's he's got to put his series face on.
Well, the chips are down on the table now. Nick's got to go all in. Let's find out here for a crucial Game 5 with his next homestand what we're gonna be looking at here. I believe the only thing he can't take is 7, so we'll see what he goes with here.
We'll do 10 cards.
Okay. So right in the middle there, upper mid tier if you will, or lower high tier, depending on how you want to look at it. We'll kick things off in blue. Both individuals still have their power play available. 3-1 advantage here for Background.
Yep, off we go. Nick, he's back in control. He can, immediately he gets aggressive. Check that out by Nick.
On the gas immediately. Little ditto play there from Background.
I mean, I respect that, though. I mean, unless he's got some other key action card to play. I mean, it's not always a bad plan to set your opponent back again, as Background's got a draw that might help Nick out even more. Oh, but he's got to draw back again.
Both iced out in blue, and now we're going to draw for a while. But that +2, important there if you're Nick, because now you've established possession in this draw city, up by 4 or 5 cards, depending on situation here. You gotta have any advantage possible here, especially with the fact that the power play's on the other side of the table.
And now the Background, that top deck by Background, he uses it right there. Now we're broken free of draw city. This should allow some more movement to happen.
Another double play there by Nick, the skip into the 9. So again, continuing to get the advantage gap. Now again, oh, but hold on, might get drawn back.
Well, there's
there.
Background's triple.
Trips play with the +2 into reverse, draws it back even.
Yep, over into a Ghost 1, but Nick over into a William Brock yellow. Now into Arya green.
Wow, look at this. Tricolor there. No Skittles as double play there by Nick.
Yep. Asserting his advantage again by 2 cards. And again, over into the non-4 Nick switches into.
All over in terms of the color here. Now dipping our toes into blue. Background answers back +4.
Oh.
Whoa, hold on. Okay, green 7. Okay. I was going to say, background's got to clean up little rookie mistakes like he had back against Tago in that round of 64, but just a mistype there. Now background gets the possession back. What's
Yep,
on
he's
the
still
return,
on his
though?
feet. Yeah, he's still on his feet, but Nick.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
My goodness.
Got to wonder if that was off of the +4. A +4 for a +4, and now Nick gets the advantage back. Light switch over to yellow right off the return of the +4 for background.
And hopefully Nick's got, something to answer back for that yellow, maybe some number efficiency like he's been hoping to do earlier.
Makes me glad I'm just a spectator because I got 0 reads on what these two guys have right now with what they've been able to dish out against each other in this crucial Game 5. Nick trying to stay alive, background trying to close this thing out. We're going to run in yellow for a little bit here. Let's see how long we stay. 0 sugar there for background.
Up into 6 right there. Nick still has the lead, though.
Running a lot of yellow here.
But that light switch into yellow by background, like it looked like it would help him now, but now Nick, he does a light switch himself. Maybe that could get him whatever he wants to do. He ices him.
Wow, iced out on red. We haven't run a whole lot in red looking here. Let's see what Nick can do now. Oh, he's got to bring it
green.
back to green.
Makes you want to scratch your chin at that one. But although Nick, he's got the advantage though. He's got a double lead. Background looking to work it back. Oh, he sets him back too.
Did have a double lead, and now we're tied up. Knotted up at 6. Answers back does Nick with a green +2 of his own.
And monkey see, monkey do. I mean, shout out to Monkey, by the way. It's just a figure of speech, but background gets the chance to answer back with this one.
Background going to have to continue to run in the green here. Let's see what Nick's able to do now. Up 4-7. Power plays still available on both sides, but Nick's got the current advantage in terms of cards. Nicholas taking his time here. Might be looking at some card history for his next play. Is he maybe considering power play? Let's see what the situation is going to be here for the #1 seed of the Hearts region.
Yeah, Nick, just being timely about this. He's only down to right there. Oh, how about that triple? But he leaves it open.
Goes to check. Hits him with a +4, so there's 4 freshies. Let's see if there's an answer back here by background. Light
he
switches to
switches.
yellow. We go in number efficiency. Is there maybe a wild? Oh, we iced him.
Oh, man.
He iced him. Great play from background.
I tell you, it's them little things that tend to matter the most. I mean, another light switch into yellow by background.
So
that throws Nick off balance.
So one would have to assume Nick was trying to end in red. Didn't have a 1 for number efficiency there on that light switch, so was looking to end in red. He gets it back to red, though.
He gets it back to red, which is where he wanted it to be.
Was that the card? Was that red 5 maybe the card he had for the finisher? Who knows? Oh,
back to check again.
Oh, background.
Is he going to get it this time?
Did he draw 2 reds? He didn't.
Oh, man.
He drew 1 red, but he drew a different color, apparently. Now background atop deck. Nick's iced out. Can background light switch off of red here with the 9? Yes, he can. Into the blue. Was that the color that Nick needed, though?
Yep, with Nick's own card, down to the blue 0 sugar. Don't forget, 0 sugar blueberry blaster, which you can order at drinkmildroadenergy.com. Don't forget.
Now background's got to make some choices here. Is it 2 blue cards that Nick has left? He'll stay in blue. Does Nick have another blue, or is he iced out? Oh, wait a minute. He might have gotten something on the top deck he was saving. Oh, my gosh!
Oh, Nick does it.
Look at that. He did have a blue. It was the reverse. Was able to hit the double reverse to close it out. Great job there by Nick. He'll draw this up now to a 3-2 advantage, heading on the road in a crucial Game 6. But we said it, Jesse. He needed to win the next 3. He's begun the path here, at least for the comeback to draw it even 3-3.
I know. I mean, he's the tournament champion in March for a reason. He's always determined, never quits, never gives up. I mean, his back's against the wall. I mean, he knows he's got to push, and so far it's worked for him that time.
Background, it's been answer for answer for answer, it seems here. A +4 for a +4, a +2 for a +2. In the end here, it kind of came down to trying to figure out what color he had left. You knew he didn't have red, but couldn't tell necessarily in the drawback what the yellow colors were going to be. How much guesswork was going into that, and also at the same time, how much were you trying to find your own color to try and see if you could ice them out on one way and then be able to get the advantage to close out this series? And then Nick, obviously, I assume I'd be correct in that either that red, I thought maybe the red 5, but I saw you also had that red 8. I would assume those are maybe one of those two was the card you were looking to finish on there when you had that trips down to check. And then just how difficult was it to try and then figure out on those cards you got in the drawback to be able to get to them? You were able to hit the double reverse there. That was a really nice finish.
You would be incorrect. It was actually the blue 0. That was my last
Wow.
card when I got to Uno there. I was really hoping he'd switch to blue there, thinking I didn't have it, but didn't work out. I just got some fortunate draws off the top of that, getting the blue reverse and then the green reverse, and then he made the switch over to blue for me. Just sort of unfortunate for background character there.
A lot of guessing, had no clues what colors he had left, knowing it was off the draw. Expected him to have 4 cards, didn't expect him to finish on the power cards. He had a green skip, he had a yellow +2, he had the blue +2 there as well. When we swapped over to blue, could have maybe at least hit him with 1 +2, maybe stacked the +2s there, though he would have then kind of iced himself out on yellow. But he did have some defensive cards. Just, yeah, how do you foresee, Jesse, a double reverse play to close it out? That's a rarity.
I know it's great on him for us saving those ammo cards right when he needed it to. I mean, using that efficiently, just as good as you could get it. I mean, not much to comment on. Excellent job for using it the right way at the right time.
Yeah, nowhere close to accurate for me on the read for Nick there, thinking he had a red to try and close it out when he had that trips play to check, had a blue 0 instead. And that kind of then answers my my question where I was thinking, why didn't he power play if he had the red? Well, now we know there would have been no need for a power play there because there's no way to be able to chain over to a blue 0 from, I think he had a red 1 there when he got to check. But now, important Game 5 victory. Now going to be on the road is Nick. He'll try and draw this back 3-3, but it's going to be background who has the call here. Again, trying to close this series out. Try and not force it into a Game 7. There you see, Coach Smart letting him know. No 13, no 14, and we're going full send. Here we go. 15 cards here for Game 6.
Sending it all the way. And we're on.
So we'll start in yellow. Let's see just exactly how this one plays out. We've seen a lot of high card starts here in this one where we've whittled down the numbers. We've saved the ammo for the end. Where are we at now? Both of these individuals, while it's full send in the number of cards, I feel like it's full send in the mentality as well for both background and Nick. For Nick, he's trying to keep it aggressive to draw Game 7. For background, he's trying to keep it aggressive to close this series out 4-2. Light switch immediately off the initial into blue. I think we're going to see a lot of that here as well, Jesse.
Yeah, I don't doubt you for a second right there. But yeah, Nick, another light switch right there. We're starting to see a lot more of those lately with just switching it up.
Light switches, of course, are twofold. You're trying to establish the color you want, but you're also maybe searching, trying to find that one color that the other person doesn't have, try and take advantage of an ISO play and be able to force them to draw back, give yourself an advantage in terms of your card quantity.
I'm still going to just dabble lightly in the numbers, though. I mean, nothing wrong with that. Just work down your numbers, save your heavy stuff for later on in the round. So that's the strategy that both the guys are going with as we go over into the Tapir Red 4. And into the non-blue 4.
Right back to blue, says Nick.
We're going to go all around the rainbow. Yes, we are!
We've got Skittles.
Dang.
Skittles in the 4s.
Yep, we go all around the rainbow. Now we're settled into the yellows for now as Nick plays one there.
First of 3 1 versus 8 seeds here today. Immediately coming up after this one, 3 o'clock, Clubs region. Number 1 seed Myth taking on number 8 seed Yoshi. And then later on tonight, non-stream game in the Spades region, 7:30. Mac Johnson, number 1 seed, taking on number 8 seed Hockey. It's really weird how it seems like in most
background.
Oh, wait. Hold that thought. Oh, wow.
Is he going to do it with 6 cards?
This would have been an 8-bagger. This would be an 8-bagger if he does it. Saw an 8-bagger.
And Nick can't do anything about it.
Trip reverse, into the skip, into the +2.
What a stinger of a run this is.
This is crazy. Another +2.
Goodness me. Background. Pulling off a legendary run. Possibly to close this out.
Heads for check on the Wild. There's no call out. He'll finish it out with a red card. What's it going to be?
He
A red 7.
Yep.
Background is going to take the seeding upset. The 8 seed will topple the 1 seed here in the Hearts region. Another monster hand. 15 OP with an advantage. Had that power play advantage. That's a 13, a 14, and a 15 card start where it seemed to be just straight plan A for you, Background. Finally advances past the round of 32. Yes, that's true. Going to be making his first round of 16 appearance here. Background, congratulations. But man, I mean, obviously the power play we saw was crucial. But just in terms of the hands you've been able to get here this series, you go back to game 2, you go back to game 4, here in game 6, these monster hands is obviously, it's made your job a little bit easier in determining what type of a strategy to have. And then Nick, I mean, obviously tough break for you there. A lot of these games you seem to be on the short side in terms of ammunition, but you went back to that higher tier there at the beginning of the game. We were in the higher tier here. Was there anything where your power play could have potentially helped you be able to draw this into a game 7 had we not had that 8-bagger finish?
I mean, I don't necessarily know. You don't go into this like immediately off the start thinking that 8-bagger into a power play finish was gonna come off the board like that. You're just not able to foresee those types of things, and it is what it is. That's just the nature of the beast. Sometimes you end up getting these tough breaks, but I'm happy for background character. Very, very excited to see what he can do now that he's passed this roadblock of the round of 32. I think he's more than capable of doing big things, no matter how much he tries to make people think the opposite through his words. But no, congrats to background. It'll be interesting to see how far he'll go.
It will indeed. Background says Cars definitely favored him, even in the losses. Could have likely stopped Nick. Just really my day-to-day. Apologies for Nick. Pretty uncompetitive series. Felt like I was always in the driver's seat in this series. And I mean, obviously in a 3-1 advantage, you know, you can get that sense, but I've seen so many times here, Jesse, where you can be up 3-1. I think I recollect back to a series that I had with Ashley where I was up 3-1, and I'm thinking, yeah, I got this, and all of a sudden she had us forced into a game 7. You know, you can have that sense of security when you've got the early advantage, but you can't really rest on your laurels. Like we saw background, he kind of kept his foot on the gas, kept the aggressive level at an all-time high here, and I think that kind of helped him out. But yeah, it will be interesting to see how far he goes. Nick, a great series played for him as well. I just kind of feel like he was on the short stack, if you will, to give a little bit of a casino term in terms of the ammunition that he was allotted, especially in a couple of the even-numbered games here.
Oh, absolutely, Seth. As we have approached the 1 hour mark on the stream now, but man, like that stinger of a run by Background, you know, it's obviously what has ended the series for him, and it's allowed him to move on to his first round of Sweet 16. But yeah, like it was just many key moments throughout it all. Of course, you know, Nick with his strong Game 5 to stay alive and maybe get that push back into a Game 7. I mean, he played excellent too with Nick. Just a couple times there. I mean, Background getting them first 2 road wins. That sentiment at the advantage first time. And Nick tried battling back too, but I mean, just dang, like that final run in Game 6 that Background was able to put together, like that really spoke volumes to me. You know, like in case, you know, you or I get to face him, or anybody gets to face Background up in the round of 16. Definitely look out for him to pull something like that together in the future. But both guys did really smart. But just you know, Background, like this was a good, you know, statement making win for him, at least in my eyes. I mean, it's a good for me to witness, you know, what kind of moves he can pull off, and yeah, just a Nick for the power play. I mean, it's tough that he wasn't able to really get to, you know, make whatever run come to fruition. But yeah, I was definitely very entertained by that, and it's definitely been a good one to witness.
You talk about people that are going to have to face off against Background in the future. As we take a look here in the Hearts region, our bracket with Background moving on, he will await the winner later on tonight at 9 between Tapir and DJ Curtis. They'll be the one to take Background on in his first appearance inside of the straight 16. So first of our 1 versus 8 seed games here this afternoon. The second one going to be streamed as well, and we've already had an upset. Will we be in for maybe another one at 3 o'clock? As in the clubs region, it'll be Myth taking on Yoshi, and then later on tonight at 7:30 in the Spades region, it's Mac Johnson taking on another of the rookie class in hockey. Also tonight at 7, you've got in the clubs region, Albion taking on Aria, 3 versus 11 seed, and then late night, we already documented it, going to be taking on the winner of this one here in Background, Tapir versus DJ Curtis in the Hearts region at 9. But our next game, our final streamed game of the afternoon, going to be taking place in just a little under 45 minutes. We hope you guys will join us for that. My thanks to Jesse for joining me here on commentary. Cody Smart, our referee. Congratulations to Background as he's moving on to his first appearance in the round of 16 here in Jackpot June. We'll see you guys in just a little bit at 3 p.m. here as we get ready to close out our streamed games here on this Saturday afternoon as we continue on T4 of 2025 MRE UNO tournament here on YouTube. Until our next one here in just a little bit, have a great rest of your afternoon, everybody.
This has been a presentation of MRE UNO Division 1.